So everyone sees all the cute dog videos that we post online and see us running this canine business, and they think it's just a dream job. And in a lot of ways it is, but they also don't see the long 14-hour days, the tough decisions, and all the systems that we built that have got us to where we are today.
14-hour days sound pretty good. They're usually like 16 or more than that. But
sometimes they are longer.
There's a lot that goes into running a canine business.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Canine business, the real work behind the dog work. Welcome to episode 6 of Elite Canine Unleashed, and let's dive into it.
Welcome to Elite Canine Unleashed. I'm Chris, a former law enforcement canine handler and a professional dog trainer.
And I am Rachel, business strategist and the one behind all things business and marketing here at Idaho Elite Canine Training and Boarding Suites.
Together, we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to raise, train, and live with dogs at the highest level.
And we'll share the stories, lessons, and laughs on what it takes to build a business, a family, and a life centered around dogs.
Whether you're a dog owner, trainer, or handler, or just somebody who loves dogs, you're in the right place.
Welcome to Elite Canine Unleashed. Going and diving into today's topic, we thought it would be great to kind of help break down some things with systems and marketing and maybe help some other people who are trying to build and grow their dog training businesses with some of the things that we've put in place and have learned throughout our time in business to just give some encouragement to those who are trying to build something big as well. So let's start here. Chris, when you imagined us starting Idaho Elite Canine, or we talked about starting training, because really it was just a side training business back then, what did you think it would be like?
I don't know that I had a set idea or vision what it was going to look like. I kind of figured we'd just be training dogs, and when we started getting... Well, when the building went up and we started seeing how big it was, and I think all that changed really fast, thinking, like, okay, we got, like, this is going to be big. But I don't know that I had necessarily a vision. I think it just kind of, I definitely wanted to continue our training side, which we had already been doing. We wanted to add boarding because we're here, and I think being able to offer that in our area was a good thing to offer. And then we do all sorts of specialty training. Then we continue to grow and continue to add to things and change things and add more things. Did I picture it being like what it is now? No, not even close. But
well, yeah, especially when you compare it to when we first started Idaho Elite Canine, like you went to people's homes, clients' homes, and then they came to our house, and then
when we first started, we'd go to clients' houses, and it was a lot harder to do a ton of trainings that way because you had your travel time in between places and trying to get schedules to line up. And we had people come to our house.
Till that got busy enough that we moved to our first building, and
it's
now we're in our
just
second.
Taken off. And if you look at where we were a year ago, just over a year ago, year and a half ago, it's completely different.
In pretty much every way.
Yeah.
What do you think most people in this industry completely underestimate when they first start?
Probably lots of things, but I mean, we're not necessarily new to business. Like, we've done some other business stuff, but not at this scale, obviously. The amount of time that probably goes into
so much time.
Everything. Like, you don't really, when it was just us, like, we run things. It's just you and me. And now that we're starting to get employees and, policies and procedures, and there's just so much that goes into it. The amount of time that we spend here, solving problems, fixing things, changing things. As you grow, what I find is what used to work when it was you and me doesn't work when you're at a much bigger scale and team. And So I think all sorts of things, the team, manpower, time, finding good people, keeping good people. I think the list goes on and on. There's a lot that I thought like, oh, that shouldn't be too bad, or this would be fairly easy to do. And that's not how that works. It's been very, very difficult in some ways. And the sheer amount of time that goes in is just a ton.
Yeah.
Way more than, I say this all the time. I thought I worked a lot before. We work
A lot now.
Yeah, we haven't had real day off in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Other than traveling, like we traveled and we're in some trainings, which I guess is kind of away from here and a day off, but we're still learning. We're still going to classes.
Still working, even
yeah.
though we're not physically here. Yeah.
But, I think there's lots of things that we just didn't realize, I think, what it would take to get to this scale.
I think even just like the hiring, the team training, the client communication, the maintaining the standard that we've built the brand to be when it was smaller, continuing to maintain that level of standard through all areas that we've grown in the business is, I know that's like very important to both of us in keeping the integrity of the brand, everything we do. And there's a lot of pieces, the bigger you get, to keep that standard and maintain the integrity of what we do for people.
Yeah.
So one of the first major shifts we had to make, and I feel like especially for you, because you were able to just train and I did a lot of the marketing and behind the scenes things, you've, as we've grown, had to move from being just a trainer to leading a team and being the leader of a business. Do you feel like that's been hard to have that like mindset shift?
I think my previous job in law enforcement kind of helped prepare me for that. I was a supervisor or sergeant, so I'd supervised before. What's been hard is trying to let go of some of the day-to-day things that we are really picky about, and allowing our team to take care of that and know that they're going to do just as good a job as us because we have trained them and we keep a high standard on that kind of stuff, and they know that. So I think letting go of some things is really hard sometimes. It just is, well, it's like, it's ours, right? It's our, like, we started it from scratch. So some of those things are hard. Letting go of the training piece so that we can focus on other stuff. We have some amazing trainers here, and they're going to be great, and they're going to do great. But it's sometimes hard to let go of that piece too, just because that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And realizing that now for us to be able to keep doing this, we have to allow other people to be able to train, and they're going to do great. And that allows us to focus on some other things.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that I thought would be really important to touch on, especially as I'm thinking about dog trainers that are just getting started or people aspiring to be in the dog training business, is systems and having systems. And I think sometimes when you first get going with something like this, you're, maybe making some posts on social media, you're getting a few clients, you kind of book them in on your calendar yourself, and that's fine. And that's the system that you use in the beginning. But as you continue to grow and you gain more clientele and you get bigger and bigger and bigger, sometimes you find the systems that you have in the beginning need adjusted to match the capacity of the volume of clients that you're having. And so, when we first started, you booked your own clients on your own calendar. And then as we got busier than what we were, I started managing that piece for you and taking over the marketing and the social media. And now we have gotten to the point where we have other people who are trained on all of the softwares that we use. They run and manage the calendar for us. We've got systems in place to where clients automatically book themselves into the calendar with available spots that show online. And so I think just knowing that wherever you're at, the systems you have in place now, if you don't have any, I encourage you to get a flow of some systems. But what you're going to need when you're first getting started is going to be far different than as you grow. And so always seeking the best systems to have in place in your business that allow you to grow and allow you to bring other team members in to help too is really important, because the more you can utilize systems and automating things where you can really helps make it so there's not so much demand of like data entry and managing the daily calendar and things like that.
Yeah, we do use a ton of different software, and which really helps track a lot of that stuff, schedule things, keep track of all the different things we have going on. It definitely grows quickly, and I think a big piece of that too, like we try to encourage trainers. We get calls all the time about, hey, I'm thinking about trying to train full time, or I'm just trying to get started, or and they're trying to bridge that gap between, hey, like, yeah, I do a couple sessions a month, or I have a couple clients a month, to if you're going to do this full time, I mean, you need to be training, 10, 12 hours a day, right? You got to have a full schedule, and you got to have a full schedule even to bring on other trainers so that they can start training. So there's some big pieces to get from a few trainings a month to having a full
booked.
schedule.
Yeah.
And we do, I'm sure we'll talk about some of that. We do all sorts of different things so to make that possible.
Yeah. Yep. And without softwares for the training side and the boarding side and having a flow to our feeding schedules and how we schedule our team, it would be pure chaos if we didn't have those things in place. So I think looking into, there's free softwares. I mean, you can literally start with just a Google Calendar to get, your bookings on, and you can give someone else access to that if you do end up getting someone that starts doing your calendar and taking phone calls for you. And so really leveraging and leaning into technology that's going to make those pieces easier, I think, is really important. And every dog trainer that's just getting started should be making sure they're using.
And trying to find the right, like if you do have somebody that's going to answer your phones, trying to find the right person that at least has some knowledge so they can answer some of the questions. But a lot of that, at some point or another, they end up wanting to talk to me or one of our trainers to make sure they're not sure on what package, or they're not sure, what exactly they need. So it is helpful to have somebody that has a general idea, because if not, then every phone call that comes in, they're answering, and then you have to then call all of those
and
back.
Answer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Being able to have someone who can kind of field those calls, answer what they can, give clients as much information as they can without having to have direct contact with you as the trainer really takes a lot off of your plate, when someone else can do that, kind of filter the clients. And another reason that's really important with phone calls is, as we get, and we'll touch on marketing in a minute, but marketing and your brand should be as much about drawing and attracting the right clients to you as it is pushing the clients that aren't a great fit for you in business away from you, because time is your greatest resource, and it is the one resource that you have a finite amount of time on. So you don't want not necessarily every lead that comes in is the right lead for every trainer, right? And so you need to have some way to filter through those. And in the beginning, you want to take every lead that you can, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that they're the ideal client. And you should always know who you're trying to serve, because it makes it so much easier to adjust the marketing and the verbiage on the phone calls to know when those leads come in, if it's a client that's going to be a good fit for you, or if it's a client that you might need to refer out to someone else.
And as time goes on, when you're getting started with that, you do try to take pretty much every client you can. But the bigger we get, the more selective we can be. And not that we would love to work with everybody, but that's just not a reality.
Yeah.
So it allows us to kind of to pick clients that really fit what we're doing and that makes a good relationship with us. So,
yeah. You touched on this a minute ago a little bit about hiring, especially I feel like for dog trainers, most people, their first hire is someone who can kind of be that administrative assistant, answer phones, watch for emails coming in, things like that. Now that we've kind of been hiring, we have a team, what do you feel like are roles that have been like the biggest game changers for us, or that like looking back, it's now like, oh man, I wish we would have hired that out sooner?
Well, trying to get some other trainers. You got to be busy enough to do that. But once you get some other trainers, it allows us to focus more on the business and different things in the business. So having another trainer, I feel like that's the long game too, because even people like we have trainers that are knowledgeable, but we're still pretty controlling on like how we train here. And so
I wouldn't necessarily call it controlling as much as we have a standard and we'd like everyone to be able to train to the standard that we've set.
Yeah. So trying to get that takes a lot of time, hands-on, a lot of shadowing until you're comfortable with them training on their own. And it's not because they're not knowledgeable. They are, but like you say, we have a set standard here and we have a certain way we want things done, a certain way.
And that's because a lot of time has gone into building the brand the way it is and the results that we've been able to provide, and we don't want to let that slip from what we built. It's taken a lot of time to build that brand. I mean, building a brand, most people just start, by themselves, training, taking one-on-ones, and then eventually you should start building a brand behind you, and it takes time to build a brand into what it becomes.
Yeah.
I'd say on the boarding side of things, having a reservation specialist has been super important because calls come in all day, every day for boarding, and it takes a lot of time to answer those phone calls, give the information out on boarding, get them booked in for their dates. So having someone do that so that, Chris's side of the business is obviously heavy on the training. That's what he does all day, every day. And then a lot of the business growth strategies we do together, but marketing is kind of my thing. Like marketing, business growth, business coaching is really where my heart is at. I could talk about those things all day long. And in order for me to be able to do what my piece of the business is to help us continue to grow so that Chris can train our trainers to provide that standard of training that we've set, I need to be able to focus on growth and marketing and be working on the business and not in the business. And so I feel like for me, having a reservation specialist and someone who can be at the front desk, answering phones, giving tours of the facility, things like that is really important.
Yeah, because some days, today's been busy. Like some days the phone doesn't stop ringing. In between answering phones, answering questions, doing bookings, having walk-ins,
returning emails.
There's nothing else you can get done in a day because you're doing that all day long.
Yeah. And that is, you need that. You want that. That's what
what
everyone's like trying to get to, right? But also there's pieces that will continue to push the business further ahead. And that's something that easily someone else can handle for you. So that's been really helpful. One thing we care really deeply about, whether it's on the training side or the boarding side, is the client experience. And so we've talked about that a little bit. Like we have a set standard of care and the level of training that we provide. But is there anything else you'd add to the way we approach our client experience at Idaho Elite K-9?
Well, first of all, we have some of the best clients, which is really nice.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're not just saying that. Like I feel like almost all the clients that come in here, we have relationships with. Like we know about them. They know about us more on a personal level than they're just here to train and out the door. We want our clients to come here and have an amazing experience. We want them to come here and feel like we're taking care of their, whether it's boarding, that we're taking care of their dog, which we are, that their dog had a good experience, as good as experience as they can when boarding. Some dogs, it's stressful for them to be here. Other dogs do absolutely great. It's not that big a deal for them. So in the training side, same thing. We want you to feel like you've come, you've had a great experience, you've learned a ton, and you have a completely different dog by the time you're done.
Yeah.
And that you have the tools that you need to be successful with your dog. But our goal here is to have a great relationship and to have our clients be successful in what they're doing.
Yeah. And we are very intentional about every aspect of that. Like, we're always thinking, how can we, what we've promised to deliver on, how can we overserve on that? Even down to the way clients are given their equipment, because with the packages that we have, everyone's given a certain level of equipment. And so even just down to the smallest details, we're always tweaking or refining, how can we make what we're already doing good better? And so I think anytime that you can find ways to overserve the clients who've entrusted you to help them with the problem they're trying to solve, and constantly are hammering away at how you can make that a more refined, better, amazing experience for them, is really important too. And I don't always think when people get into dog training that those are things that they're thinking about, but I think as you start growing, that's something to really keep in mind too.
And I feel like there are trainers out there, and not all trainers, but there's trainers out there that it's really about the money. For us, I feel like it's all about results, all about, like, I want people to be successful. I want, yes, the money, that's part of this, but really what it comes down to, like, when somebody pays us, it's not like, oh, well, we just got, they just paid for this or that. It's, okay, how are we going to get their dog's results? What's going to work for them? How are we going to kind of structure our training to be the best and the most successful for them?
Yeah.
I worry about results. Like, they pay us, and I want to give them results. That's the first thing that comes to mind when somebody purchases a package is, okay, I remember I've met with them. Maybe we did an eval with them. And how are we going to get them to be successful?
Right. And I think really at the end of the day, that comes down to integrity, because, integrity is literally one of the core values of our business. We have a mission statement with core values. Integrity is on that list. And I think as a business owner, when you're standing in your integrity and those things are at the heart and the center of everything you do, people feel that. And so it becomes the piece that it's like, I went there, I had this amazing experience. They way over-delivered on what they promised to do for me. My results were great. And then they in turn go out and tell their friends, because I know for me as much for you, like, it's really important to us that anyone who works with us is always like, oh my gosh, I loved working with the Normans. They were amazing. And that's all I ever want people to feel when they walk away from doing business with us, whether it's training or boarding or something else. And I think, like you said, there's a lot of trainers out there that really overpromise and undereducate and underdeliver, and that will put you out of business probably faster than anything, because lack of integrity is felt even more so than a strong sense of integrity in your business. People feel that. Things are often unspoken that are not verbal, right? Like, a lot can be said just by what people feel when they walk in and start working with you. So let's talk visibility about dog trainers for a minute, because you can be the best dog trainer in the world, but if no one knows that you exist, you don't have a business. And so there's lots of ways to be seen and to market yourself. And one of the best ways in today's world, I believe, is social media. And it's kind of a love-hate relationship, because in some ways it's kind of the beast you have to keep on feeding for business growth. But everyone can have a social media account on every platform for free. Like, they don't charge you to be on there. So you should be getting on there and putting yourself out there every day. But a lot of times there's a love-hate relationship with that, right, Chris?
Yes. I absolutely hate actually doing, I shouldn't say I hate. I do not enjoy being on camera. I do not enjoy making the reels. I appreciate everybody that always says, oh, your social media is great. We love your videos. I really appreciate it. I think I'm horrible on camera, and it's really tough for me to do those. I actually probably wouldn't do it if Rachel wasn't like, this is what we're doing. So that's kind of been difficult to do. It is a love-hate relationship, but it also has done a ton for our business. It's something that we get tons of people that come in here that say, hey, I saw you on, TikTok or Facebook or whatever.
YouTube, or we've even had like invites to be on other podcasts now because of just the reels that we've posted of training on
so it
social media.
Definitely helps grow your business. It helps make you more visible. But it is tough. And what I tell people is sometimes you just got to do things and you don't worry about what other people think. Everybody on the internet has an opinion and they think they're right. We get nice comments. We get mean comments. Some of those you just got to just move on, appreciate the nice ones. We still read some of the negative ones, and I don't just discard those. I mean, some of them maybe have a valid point or something. So, but you just got to realize it doesn't matter how good or how bad you do, how much you think you know or don't know.
Someone will always be sitting right there ready to pass judgment. And oftentimes I feel like you're going to find the people that are kind of those keyboard warriors giving you hard critiques or just kind of mean comments in general. Yeah. A, they don't know what they're talking about. And B, they're doing far less than you in their life. They're not willing to put themselves out there and take the risk and, be willing to get in front of a camera and give some advice to people. And so a lot of times you just take that with a grain of salt and ignore them, keep your head down, get to work and keep on going. And
100%. I try not to read too much into negative comments. Even the positive ones. Like I mean, Rachel's good about tracking that stuff and reading that stuff, but I just tell her, I don't want to know. I'll just film the videos. And
he doesn't even watch most of the reels. We film them, put them together, they get posted, and he's like, I don't want to watch it. And even if he's like scrolling and it pops up on his feed, he'll just like thumb past it.
Anybody knows, like, at least most people, like if you don't like to watch yourself on video, or a lot of people don't even like pictures. So it's just one of those things. It's easier for me not to watch a lot of the stuff that we do. I was there. We filmed it. I know what it's going to consist of. And so Rachel will be like, well, do you want to watch this one? Nope. You can just post it, and I let her handle that stuff. Because if not, I think I would be like, I don't want to post that. Let's not post that one. So it's just easier for me not to. She handles that, and I don't worry about it.
Yeah, and we've worked hard on our social media for years now, but this year in January, we really decided to go heavy on the social media and hired a videographer to help us, and we film content 2 solid days a month, all day, and that gives us enough content for at least 1 reel a day. Sometimes we post more than that, and then we film, long-form training videos and things like that as well, and so that has really been helpful with our growth on social media this year. I mean, like Chris said a little while ago, we get comments all the time on how nice our social media looks and all the things. And it is time consuming to set aside the time and be like, I need to go post every day. But it is helpful, and you can reach people all over the country, all over the world with what you're doing just by creating a free account, creating some content, and hitting post every single day. And so if you are not doing that and you are an aspiring dog trainer or one who's just getting started, we're going to challenge you to post a reel a day.
And with that, though, like, do things that you're comfortable with, do things that you feel like you are knowledgeable in. If you don't feel like you're very knowledgeable on a topic, like, we'll talk about things, I'm sure even on this podcast, that I don't know everything about everything. Nobody does. So we try
But we do know a lot of things about a lot of things.
Yeah. So we just try to somewhat focus on the things that we are strong in and that we've done and that we know. So just don't post anything. Try to post things that you're fairly confident in.
And having a mix of like educational videos, having educational topics that you're talking about. People really love those. They love behind the scenes content. They love before and after transformations are also really huge. So if you can kind of mix up what you're posting every day between those three things, I think that's really helpful. I think when you kind of get that trifecta of those things going on, people really love to see that and the different variety in them. And so just making sure that, like Chris said, you're talking about things that you're comfortable talking about, you feel knowledgeable in, and kind of mixing it up between those three types of content that you're creating are really helpful. So if a dog trainer says to you, I hate social media, what would be
I do too.
your encouragement to them? That's not encouraging.
Usually what I say is I do too. But if you want to get visible, if you want to continue to grow your business, we highly recommend you do it. And it's going to be uncomfortable. A lot of things, if you're growing and doing new things, it's going to be uncomfortable. The more you do it, like now that we're doing Reels, like for the first, I don't know, probably two or three sessions that we did of Reels, like it would take us, I don't know, 10 takes to do one Reel. And now we're getting to the point where we can move through them fairly quickly. We have good days and bad days, but I mean, even the first couple sessions we had, like it was very frustrating for me. Like I was like, I don't want to do this. But the more we do, it's gotten better and better. It's gotten easier. And sometimes it's even fun when you start kind of getting in the groove and doing it a little bit. So
it starts to feel more comfortable the more you do it.
Yeah.
It is.
I would just tell trainers that if you're wanting to grow, it can be very valuable to your business. And it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but
if no one knows you exist, then you're invisible. And if you're invisible, then your business is irrelevant. So be your authentic self and show up and share what you know.
Yeah, and there's amazing, I mean, everybody has amazing things that they can do. Everybody is different and has skills that other people don't have or that other people don't know. And just being able to share that with people is really cool. So just understand that the stuff that you're doing or the stuff that you're providing, a ton of people want that and they don't know the information that you're giving them and they're interested in that stuff, and it allows them in a way that's free for them for right now to get on and be able to learn what they can and get what information could be useful for them.
Yeah. Yep. I think everyone wants to, I mean, the goal, right? You've started a business as a dog trainer is to make money. And I think sometimes when we get started in the training world, we think the only way to make money in this business is through one-on-one sessions. And yet there's multiple ways that you can monetize and create different streams of revenue. And so, I mean, we have our one-on-one training programs. We've got board and trains. You have product sales. We now have boarding. So I think if you have the ability as a trainer and you're only offering one-on-one training programs, finding a way to add on a board and train at your home, if possible, is a great way to just automatically increase your revenue. Having, a 4, 6, or 8 week board and train program, if you're doing it out of your home, those 6 and 8 week programs are a little bit harder, but at least adding on a 4 week board and train option. There are so many ways today with the internet to take your business and build it and scale it and monetize it. Even social media, right? Like you can make dollars from social media just by putting your face on camera, sharing what you know, and putting it out there. And it might take a little time to gain some traction, but you should always, as a dog trainer, especially if you're wanting to grow and scale, be looking at all of the ways you can monetize what you're doing outside of just one-on-one training programs. And I think when trainers are getting started, they really get stuck and stay in that I can only offer these one-on-one training sessions for longer than they probably should.
Yeah. And the board and trains really are a much, I feel like in some ways harder than one-on-one sessions because you have the dog, you care for the dog. It's like a 24/7 thing. But sometimes the outcome you get can be much better, especially for the people that don't have the time to train their dog. You still have to educate them. We still have trainings they have to come to, but we pretty much do all the homework for them. And those, I would just tell people that are doing that or trainers, just make sure you work within what you're capable of. And some of those 4-week programs should be like 4 weeks. We can get pretty far with a happy-go-lucky dog that doesn't have any big issues.
Big behavioral issues, yeah.
But if you're dealing with more bigger issues, then those 4-week programs are not long enough to really work on a bunch of that stuff. You need to be in more your 6 or 8 week programs to start working on some of that stuff. So
right, yeah. So I really think the biggest thing is definitely make sure you're just diversifying. So have, your services that you can deliver in person, some services you can deliver online, some social media ways that you're gaining revenue, and be constantly seeking ways that you can be bringing in additional revenue so that you're not always trading those hours, which are so valuable, for dollars, and being able to still produce some income even when you're not spending time with clients. It's really important. And I think in today's world, with all that we have at our fingertips with social media and the internet, and there are literally hundreds of ways to make money online and in person. And when you kind of combine both, providing a service with your online presence, it's kind of where the magic happens.
So lots of different ways. You just got to be creative and be willing to learn new things. And really, I don't think people see what it takes, how much money it takes to run a facility like this. Between rent and utilities and employees, and it takes
a lot.
Takes a lot, and not just 1 month, right? Consistently to run a facility this size.
Yeah. And it takes a lot financially to run a facility this size. It takes a lot to keep people coming in the door. I think after you kind of have those base things we've talked about in place, then the next thing you really should be leaning into and leveraging is marketing. And I feel like that really should be a whole episode on its own, because there's so many different things that you can do. But if you don't have marketing, you don't have a business. And there's a lot of different ways to get your name out there and advertise. And when you're running a facility this size, making sure that you're getting your brand out there, you're getting people to know who you are, and helping people be able to find you is so important, because it does cost a lot of money to run a facility of this size, just to keep the lights on and the doors open. So sometimes when you grow fast, you make some mistakes, or sometimes growth starts happening really fast and you don't have all the systems in place. And so I also feel like being able to learn quickly and pivot is also really important. Do you feel like that too?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to solve problems quickly and figure out solutions as we're moving on. Like we kind of talked about that. What used to work for just you and me running a business does not work for how big we are and everything going on. And being able to deal with a problem, solve the problem, and move on quickly is probably what will determine if most people are successful or not. Mm-hmm. If we dwell on a problem, if we don't try to work through the problem, if the problem comes and we're just like, I don't know what to do. Owning a business is dealing with problems every day, and you address them, try to find a solution for them, you move on, and you know pretty quick if that was the right solution or not. And if not, then you figure something else out and you move on.
Yep. And I do think the universe kind of rewards people who are quick to take action. I mean, a lot of times we'll get hung up. People in general can get caught up on something that they perceive as a problem, or they just kind of overthink things a little bit, when if they just take action and then continue to take action and put one foot in front of the other, even if you maybe don't know exactly what the steps are, you're going to reach an end result far quicker than the person who's dealing with the same thing or trying to make the same decision, and they just sit and think about how to solve and figure out the problem instead of just being like, I'm going to take action, even if I don't know if it's the exact right action to take.
100%.
So one other thing that I really wanted to touch on, and I felt like was really important that we share with dog trainers that are aspiring to get going, is if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're just not sure what to do next, you don't know what action you should take, I think finding someone that you trust who's been where you want to go is really important. So throughout the years, we've been business owners for almost 20 years now. Through that 20 years, through every business we've had and everything we've done, we've had a mentor in every single one of those areas. We have mentors now. We will have mentors in what we do and coaches that we work with always, because the power of a coach or a mentor is they've made the mistakes, right? They've gone from where you're at to where you want to go, and they can help you do it quicker because they can help you do it with avoiding some of the mistakes they made, some of those growing pains that just come because like you don't know what you don't know, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think they really help you go from point A to point B faster. And I don't think any one coach is going to give you all of the answers that you need. So you really need to narrow down what you're needing help with, and find someone that you know and trust. And there's coaching programs for all sorts of things out there, online coaching programs. I've done business coaching for people, something that we can offer too. So if you're needing help with some business coaching, like reach out. We've got options to help with that as well. But it, like even just someone in your close circle, someone that you trust that's gone to where you want to go from where you're sitting at right now, having someone in your life that you can go to for that is so important for success. Like it has helped us immensely in so many areas of so many businesses throughout the years.
Yeah. And when we first met and started doing some of our business stuff, like this is where we differed. Like I didn't think you should pay anybody for
anything
like coaching.
Like that,
yeah. Like it's like, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Why are you going to pay that person or what? I've learned since like it will fast track your business 100 times, as long as you find a good coach or a good mentor. It's worth every penny and more. So find somebody that you like, that you trust, and they're going to help you. I mean, there's still a lot of work. You got to do the work, but they can really show you and help you grow and teach you things that you would have not figured out till 5 years down the road. So yes,
teach you to implement, but then you have to go do the work.
Yep. Yeah, it's still hard. You still have to do it, but you don't have to figure everything out. They kind of help. Like you
Put
need
the pieces
to do this
of the puzzle.
And, yeah. So I highly recommend that too.
Yeah. Yep. Is there any other advice you feel like we should give any trainers who feel like they're stuck or they're just not gaining clients, or anything else you want to share with them that we didn't touch on in today's episode?
Takes social media, takes advertising, it takes money, time, effort. Like you really have to put some effort forward to do it. It's not easy, but if you want to grow, you really, it's not just going to happen, right? Like you have to put effort into growing.
And it's hard when you start a new business. It's hard when you're trying to gain new clientele. It's hard in the beginning, and you just have to keep hammering away at it day after day and implementing the pieces that are going to take you from point A to point B faster. So again, if you're looking for some sort of coaching in your dog training business, some sort of advice, please reach out. We've got some business coaching options that we can share with you. And we want to see everyone in this industry. There's plenty of room for everyone in this industry to succeed. Plenty of dogs out there, plenty of clients. And if you've got the heart and the want to succeed and the will to push forward every day, like anyone can be successful doing this.
Yeah, I agree. It just is, it's hard work, dedication, staying focused. And I think most people think they're dedicated or think they're focused, and what they soon find out is there's a lot more that they have to give, a lot more that they have to do.
And the bigger you get, the more there is you have to do.
Yep. So,
well, the more systems you need to have in place, I guess, not necessarily the more you, as in like you as an individual have to do, but you as an individual have to be knowing and seeking what you need to do to systemize for growth.
Yeah.
And optimize for the growth that you have coming in. Well, I think that about sums up everything that we wanted to talk about in episode 6 of Elite Canine Unleashed. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode, and we can't wait to see you all in episode 7. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Elite Canine Unleashed. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and share with a follow dog lover, trainer, or handler.
We'd love to hear from you. You can reach us at any time at support@idahoelitecanine.com.
And if you're ready to take your dog training or boarding to the next level, you can find us at www.idahoelitecanine.com and www.idahoelitecanineBoardingSuites.com as well.
Until next time, stay consistent and keep training.